I say I'm going to put us live, and then V starts making as much noise as humanly possible.
He just flails around.
Did he fall off
like
his
a
chair?
wild man?
Hello, chat. How are you doing? Let me. I haven't got it up actually. Let me get it sorted. Yeah. So, Scrump, what did you think of the hysteria surrounding the Joker movie?
I think we live in a society and we need to T-pose people who don't believe that. Just T-pose at them until they cry.
Aggressive T-pose.
So,
It's a new symbol of the alt-right.
Imagine if you see like a feminist, like a woke feminist journalist at the Joker just there to be mad at the movie. And just 15 people get up and T-pose at them.
3 years ago, there would have been absolutely no problems with this movie. None whatsoever.
No one would have cared.
And now you have the military, you have your police on standby, you got all the people freaking out over it, politicians.
Incel terrorism.
But what I love about
it... because we live in a society.
So I put this video on CAD Daily. I just uploaded it. But what I love about it is that they're saying, look, if you display the method by which an incel terrorist is created, we look like pieces of shit. So please don't do that. That's amazing, isn't it? It's like an admission of guilt.
Yeah, that's literally it, because they're saying, what is worse than the Joker? The only thing worse than the Joker is the people creating the Joker.
Yeah. Yeah, and literally like the whole we live in a society thing. Well, yeah, this is a consequence of society. This is what you've made. Now, you guys they are like the social influencers that are the ones sort of creating the society. So now they have to live with the fact that, yeah, you guys are making like young men who have no future. Like, good job.
It's not even, the movie isn't really about that. It's about the fact that part of it is the Joker felt alienated, so he became the Joker. But it's more complex than that. And the fact that they've latched onto this tiny aspect of it, that they are obsessed with, that they're obsessed with the fact that you can't have sympathy with anyone who's white and male.
It's not just that, it totally undermines their narrative, because they're saying, well, white males are the aggressive, violent conquerors who are doing us all the damage. And then you look at incels, and by the and in the same breath they have to say, oh, these pathetic men who can't get a date, all this sort of stuff. And it's like, well, which one is it? Are they tremendous warriors and oppressors of women and minorities, or are they worthless and pathetic? And yeah,
they can't have it both ways, can they?
Well, exactly. It's
to be trying to.
I wanted to be black Tyranids, and yet I'm white. What is this?
Well, Archie, I still wanted to ask you online, because I did offline, why are 10% of the black orcs responsible for the 90% of the crime levels?
Because Romania.
Checkmate, V. James Homer says, idea. Agree with leftists about climate change. Convince them it's too late to stop the apocalypse. Suggest they build a bunker to wait it out, Fallout style, and now you have buried the leftist problem. Yeah, but what happens when they emerge? Like, eventually they're going to be like, wait a minute, everyone's having a great time without us, and they're going to be even more resentful. And they're going to...
all the exits.
Yeah.
Well, my argument is that if climate change is scientific, show me the peer-reviewed scientific research paper that says we need to have communism. We need to pay 80% in tax.
Interestingly, that is always their solution, isn't it? I mean, I'm sure everyone's familiar with the fact that the Green New Deal was meant to be about socialism first and the climate second. Yes. Isn't that interesting?
It is, yeah. It's interesting. I've been doing some research into like the history of the Gay Liberation Front. And a lot of that was just about to say, hey, homosexuality is illegal. Maybe we should be communists.
That's natural connection.
A lot of the founding members of the gay rights movement are communists. And
that's why funny. Like once they would achieve and actually turn a nation through subversion into communism, the Russians would start killing them.
Oh, the communists, but yeah, they wouldn't be Russians. They'd be whatever.
Yeah, and by the way, I actually looked why the socialists were killing communists. It wasn't because necessarily they, hated communism. Sorry, they hated gay people. It was because they had the gay activists, which they didn't like.
Well, that's again quite.
Oh yeah, because the gay communists believed that once socialism is established, they would be in charge, and the Russians couldn't have any of that. So.
No kidding. The Russians not a big fan of gay communists. I can't believe it.
No, anyone else that was a communist besides them,
Yeah.
I love how the Russians have been reacting to Greta Thunberg. It's just like, insane child speaks to the UN, says we're all gonna die.
I tell you what, Putin's response was bloody interesting, wasn't it? You know, the thing that I found made it most interesting is the narrative they're trying to weave by people that's coming from people like Piers Morgan, the sort of, oh, look at these angry man babies who can't address Greta's arguments. And Putin was calm and measured. And I mean, what was it exactly he said? He was just basically like,
he was saying that the poor nations, they want to be like Sweden.
Yeah, but like Greta herself is just like, you know, a child who doesn't understand the issues or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just very calm and very like paternal, and it made them look just all kinds of bad. And it's like, how is Vladimir Putin making you guys look bad? Like, how has it come to this? But Sargonet, it would be good to see you as a guest on Unsafe Space YouTube channel with Carter and former SJW Kerry Smith. I'd be happy to. And Killamart says, how's it going, you ball bag? Love the new channel. Oh, thanks. I put a link to the ACAD Daily channel in the as a comment on the video. So if you're wondering why I haven't been uploading much to this channel, well, that's the reason. It's all been going on this other channel. But I'm really pleased with the Joker video I did today. I think it was bloody good. And it was satisfying to do because it was like, listen, you shits, you know, like don't sit there whining about incels. But anyway. What else are we talking about? Greta. Yes, the great prophet of climate change.
Anyone who believes that she is the one in charge making the speeches needs a lobotomy.
Yeah, it's obvious nonsense. I mean, she didn't get herself around the world. Didn't you do the video where she showing the ties to high finance?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what's really interesting? Today, I think it was Business Insider, again, published an article about the Remain campaign. Because, I mean, Owen Jones has been on Twitter going, everyone's saying George Soros is financing this. This is an anti-Semitic trope. And it's like, yeah, but he literally is giving the money, though, Owen.
He's not the main guy in this. It's the Bank of Sweden and some Swedish socialist politicians.
Yeah.
He gave money too, by the way, but he's not like the main figure.
Magog of Morskar says, I caught so much crap for saying Greta dropped out of school. I went easier on my video, but I still caught crap. This is why they use children. But I mean, she must have dropped out of school. There's no questioning that.
Oh yeah, but like there was this guy on Fox News saying that she's a child with mental issues. Like she literally has autism. She literally has ADHD.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's factually accurate. What the fuck are you talking about?
Your Noir says Putin is right about journalists. I disavow. But sorry,
what is Putin's stances on journalists?
Well,
Wasn't
I mean,
there a
murdering
book
them.
that came out basically before she was famous, written partially by one of her parents, that says that she can see CO2.
What?
Did you not see that?
No.
Apparently it's fake, but I don't believe it. I'm trying to find a primary source on it. I'm trying to find an old copy of this book. I don't speak Swedish though, so I'm gonna have to find someone who does.
Arch.
I don't speak fucking Swedish, Sharfus.
Oh, yeah, but you can understand it, so you have to interpret it.
I might try and get a copy of this and get someone to verify it, because apparently there's old versions of this book which says that because of her autism and superpowers, she can see carbon dioxide.
I want to see that. Arch, you have to validate this and confirm it.
Yeah, man, like Sweden is such a crazy place. I do not understand how those people manage.
Greta's autism allows her to see fucking carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And the thing is, that must be a problem, because isn't it like 70% carbon dioxide?
No.
Yeah.
That's nitrogen, my dude. It's like
You sure?
2%. Yes. I'm pretty sure. Look up the composition of air.
I am now.
Technically speaking, you can see carbon dioxide. It just
Oh, right,
depends
yeah, you
upon
are
the
right,
concentration.
Yeah, it's 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen.
Yes.
Right, okay. Well, I'm not a bloody chemist. Don't look at me.
That's
Common knowledge.
Yeah. Pretty embarrassing.
Oh, the composition of the atmosphere is common knowledge, is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well then, I consider myself learned on something. I didn't know that. Oh,
Yes,
Jesus.
the year 7 students everywhere are cringing at you.
Well,
Man,
yeah, okay, but it's been like
uh,
30 years since I was in year 7, and it didn't seem like really that pertinent information to have to learn. So,
Are the AI a little bit stronger than usual?
yep.
Yeah, the neutrals have been treating me roughly so far.
Same
Yeah,
here.
I mean, I'm getting. I haven't lost a unit, but those neophytes now they hit hard.
Mm.
Did you tinker with them or what? What's
Well, I
going
just
on?
put it on hard difficulty.
Oh, let me see.
Personally, I prefer it like this. I would have liked to have known before I started.
Yeah, like
looking
you
around.
know,
Well,
two groups of neophytes. Oh, fuck
it-
them.
it
And then
was-
like, taka in my
It
horse.
was in the lobby where it said it was on hard, so you can't complain too much. The information was there. It was common knowledge, V.
Oh, that was quite bad.
It was true as well. Right. Any chance of you being in an EFAP stream? Well, they have to invite me, really, don't they? I've not been invited. It's terrible.
Yeah, they have like a backlog of guests. Apparently,
Yeah.
I'm on the list as well, but it's going to take them ages to get to everyone.
I know. And they're not even giving me privileges because I'm friends with Rags and Mauler. So it's like, I mean, I don't even know what the point of special treatment is then.
Lol.
The Guardian
This is
rightly
just-
fears
yeah.
both, yeah. Calamati.
Press F for Sargon stream.
Yeah. What? Say again?
This is just the press F for Sargon stream. You're getting dumped onto.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, the Guardian rightly fears us both. Calamati, that's true. Hi, Simon, do you think...
Want me to tell you something that happened, which is going to leave your jaw dropping?
Well, hang on, let me just finish reading these out a sec.
Oh, okay.
In the middle of the anecdote. Hold on a second.
No, because I just read about it and it's like, holy shit.
Okay, give me a second. Do you think it would be less of a clown world if people had better access to mental health care services? I think that the problem with mental health is kind of a crisis of a lack of physical danger. I think that I've been thinking about this a lot, man, and I'm not sure that humans are designed to live in a world where there's no peril. You know, I think that, you know, we haven't come from a world like that, and I think making the world that way is doing something to us that we're not prepared for.
I think you're actually right.
I think I'm right too. Read The Dark Tower on your recommendation. Thank you. You're welcome, man. It's great, isn't it? What other fiction or leisure reading would you recommend? Oh God, it's actually been ages since I've read any fiction, which is disappointing now I think about it. I don't know. What would you guys recommend for reading?
Oh God, was it the First Law?
The First Law.
That one was it. Yeah,
The
First
Harvest
Law.
of Sorrow.
That is an incredible series.
That's not fiction, though, is it, V?
No, it's not fiction, which is why it's a lot better. It's the crimes of the communists against the Eastern European.
Oh, well, okay, well. I mean, that sounds like light reading. He was right about Soros, he was right about Epstein. All I'm saying is maybe we should assume Alex Jones really does have the documents. Well, I mean, if they're believing Greta Thunberg on, you know, her opinions on climate change, then why shouldn't we believe Alex Jones? Eh?
To be fair, he's been right on more than she has.
Yeah, and not just that, right? Alex Jones has more correct predictions than the entire climate movement. Just so we're clear, in the last 50 years, all of their predictions have been wrong, and a couple of Alex Joneses have been correct. So,
yeah, but Alex Jones is, you know, this is another thing that pisses me off. People think Greta is against the system. Motherfucker, if you're against the system, you're not invited to speak at the UN, you're not invited to speak at the EU, you're not invited to speak in the US.
yeah, the system is not against her, is it?
If you're against the system Alex Jones you.
No, this is classic, though. This is the communist wearing the mass-produced capitalist Che Guevara T-shirt. You know?
Very much so, I think.
I'm going to make a video about the myth of the child within communist regimes on how they actually did the exact Greta Thunberg over and over again.
Dude,
They
By
do
really
it.
getting children to do activism.
Do it, because I
Well,
bet they
again,
did this
it's
constantly,
the same
didn't they?
time.
They did, yeah.
Well, you can't criticize a child.
Exactly.
They're a
I
child.
do love that as well. It's like, oh, she's just a child. You can't criticize her. Now let's follow her lockstep into doom.
Yeah, I've got a secret weapon and defense against this though, and I was using it. I was deploying it against Dan of Deutschland. It's like, dude, I am a dad. I don't give a fuck if a child's crying at this point. like, you have to understand, crying children are not my weakness. Like you get sick of it.
Pissed off someone with that video. I think it was Sean and Jenner.
Good.
3 hours. They were like.
Good.
I guess unless a child is bleeding, you wouldn't care.
No, I would care if a child was bleeding, but it depends how much it was bleeding. If a child scuffs its knee, you say, "Don't worry," you walk it off, and then they carry on. The bleeding stops. It's not as bad as you think. Like, this is the thing. Childless millennials should not be lecturing anyone about anything to do with children. They don't know. You know?
You're a monster, man. You're a monster. You don't care about kids.
No, I do. And it's because I care that I'm not going to baby my children. But anyway, it's my birthday tomorrow. I'd love a happy birthday from one of my favorite YouTubers. Love you, dude. Happy birthday, Sad Face. Do you know Corridor Crew covered Astartes in the 10th CGI Artist Reacts video? Each video now has an average of 3.2 million views each. Also, what are your PC specs? My PC specs are pretty good, and I was talking to Arch about this yesterday, I think it was, wasn't it, Arch? Because I was thrilled to see that Astartes had such amazing numbers on them, and the latest one has the most views. So it's bloody excellent, because, man, I want these guys to go somewhere. It really infuriates me that Games Workshop isn't just like, okay, here's a fat stack of cash, make us an hour long film, and make it brilliant, you know? Because I'm sure they could do it.
Yeah, they could.
They probably
It's
could.
wonderful. And yeah, they did cover it. I was very happy when they did do, because that needs more coverage.
Yes, it does. I actually don't know who the CGI channel is, so
It's the CGI. It's the CGI guys. Basically, CG artists kind of reacting to stuff, and they did one where they react to good CG, and that was on their list.
Right, I take it they thought it was decent then.
Oh yeah. They basically raved about it.
Right, okay, awesome. I'll have to check it out. Did you see the climate protesters trying to spray fake blood on your treasury? Hose broke, blood everywhere. Haha. Yeah, apparently it was made from beetroots. Did you guys see this?
No.
Yes, I did. They sprayed at the treasury for about a nanosecond, and then the hose just went and just flailed everywhere. It was hilarious watching them trying to get it under control. It's like, no, you idiot, shut the pump down. No, shut the pump.
Turn the pump off.
Yeah, they just left it going and sprayed it all over the street.
Yeah, unironically, hilariously incompetent, these climate protesters. And yeah, I get the plan was just to spray the treasury with beetroot juice that looked like blood or something, and they completely fucked it up. And
I never understand these activist campaigns. Like, are they going to sway anyone? It's like, oh my god, that was such a polluter, but then I saw treasuries filled with blood.
It's not even just that. People did some snooping and found that whoever drove that thing in, the fire truck that they had, I don't know where they got it from, but it's untaxed, uninsured, and has no MOT. So whoever was driving that is probably getting banned from driving.
Well, of course, like taxes for me, but not for thee.
Yeah, nightmarish. How many see Joker? Just one? Police! There's an incel in the building. I love this narrative as well. The idea, why would incels shoot up a film that was like favorable? Yeah.
Surely the incels would be shooting some kind of feminist movie.
Yeah. I mean, surely they'd be worried about that rather than shooting up a movie that was designed for them, if it was designed for them.
Yeah, they'd be shooting up like the girly rom-com or something. Fuck you, Veronica.
This is infuriating me because it's something I don't have, that sort of. But
rather than the movie they're actually going to watch.
So, I like the fact that the director is just calling out woke culture, though.
Yeah, I love that he talks about woke and cancel culture. The fact that nobody can make jokes anymore, and immediately they come out and try and cancel him, proving his point.
They tried to cancel him because he's wrong on these issues.
Yeah. It's like, why do you need to cancel him, guys?
It's like, there was no cancel culture. Man, we need to get this guy canceled.
Yeah, cancel culture isn't real, and if you disagree, we'll cancel you.
Yeah. What are you so defensive about?
It's literally what the people on Reset Era do. They're like, you have someone posting there. It's like, oh, this is like a hive mind. It's like banned for thinking they're like a hive mind.
It's so Soviet though. It's so Soviet. It's like the gulags aren't real, and if you say they're real, we'll put you in the gulag.
Yeah, right. It's exactly the way you'd expect them to act as well. Anyway, I started dating a really great girl, but she likes Bernie Sanders. Not unusual for a 22-year-old. How do I turn her into a radical centrist? I want to do my part, service guarantee citizenship. You've got to address the reasons why she's supporting Bernie and not something else. I mean, what's she trying to achieve effectively? But yeah, so I don't know enough about her to be able to say, really.
Don't listen to Sargon, I'll tell you what you do, right? Wait until she gets a job. Wait until she gets a job, and then you show her paycheck, right? And then you'll see her at the UN going, "This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. You have ruined my childhood because of your taxation."
I really want a libertarian Greta to go to the UN and say, "You've stolen my wages." Yeah, so it depends on the person, but just look underlying at what they're trying to achieve. And like, if she's like, "I think socialism will help poor people," well, it's quite easy to demonstrate that it doesn't help poor people. So
it doesn't matter the person. Listen to me, all right? Talk about that. Any person that has two neurons rubbed together.
This is not horrendous stuff.
Persuaded by the taxes.
Yeah.
You just need to fuck the socialism out of it. When she realizes that what she wants is a decent man, she will abandon all of that.
Yeah. Didn't Chris Reagan fuck the socialism out of what's her name?
Of course, yeah.
Lacey Green, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, have any of you read Minna Sundberg's A Red Tail's Dream or Stand Still, Say Silent webcomics? They are excellent. I have not. Have a look at Mouse Utopia's study to observe a society devoid of need and stress. Not totally comparable to humans, pretty close. Yeah, that's basically the primary example, isn't it? The whole, if you don't know, it was an experiment done a few decades ago to give mice essentially all the resources they'll ever need, but not as much room as they'll ever need, and see what they do. And they basically became solitary loners who did nothing but like self-care and like didn't carry babies to term and things like this. And eventually the entire thing collapses because the mice become degenerate and don't have children and don't care for their children and things like this, and presumably started advocating for abortion. Kelamati, kick V, but backwards. IJN Keiko, I'm going to say the N-word. Yeah, so there's a Twitter account called Joker N-word Countdown, and it's the best account I've ever seen in my life. It's just so funny.
It's so good.
It's just every day is, 3 days till I say it, 2 days till I say it. I'm going to find it now.
And are people freaking out?
I don't know, actually. No, I haven't. Twitter's recommended it. Like an accidental thing, I'm sure, but I'll put it on the screen. Like Twitter notification recommended for you, Joker N-word Countdown, 4 days until I say it. So maybe it has. I haven't had a look yet. But yeah, it's just that. It's literally just that. It's the funniest thing in the world.
It's interesting to see if he pushes out and says something like Nagger, or goes like, "Hi there, PewDiePie."
Just the latest one is 2 hours ago, 24 hours until I say it. It's like, excellent.
Excellent.
I love this kind of culture jamming though. It's so amusing. The Lord of Change was responsible for Marvel/40K. Okay, yeah, Arch, tell me what you think about that.
Oh god.
I am preparing I did one movie about it. I'm a movie producer now. I did
You've probably got an IMDb page, actually.
I actually do. It frightens and confuses me.
I have one too.
But I did one just joking about it. This is the obvious points. This is going to bring a lot of money, sure, but it's also Marvel, and Marvel have a history. Yeah. But I'm going to do a more balanced take on it soon, because Marvel has done good stuff as well, and they have even done stuff in which they have respected the universe in which they did it. The only problem is, for every one of those, for every Vader, there's 7 ask me about my fucking feminist agenda.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think these people understand fascism, which Warhammer is. So that
Warhammer is not fascist. That's another thing that I have to beat out of UB.
It practically
is. We can have this conversation now while Sargon reads the super chats, but we can have a video and we can prove that.
Well, no, go on. Let's hear the arguments, Arch.
It's far more complex than just fascism.
Well, yeah.
It is a religiously based dictatorship run by a curia of individuals, and every single sector, in fascism, you would never have a system where an individual world would be allowed to partake of virtually any system of government it so chooses, simply because the state can't be fucking bothered to take care of it. It's too vast. It's too huge to be managed, micromanaged like you would see in a fascist system.
So fascism in principle, but not in practice.
Yeah, I mean, the Inquisition technically overrides all of that. Like, if an Inquisitor goes on a planet and decides, no, this is how you're going to run things from now on, the planet has to obey it.
Yeah, and?
But that's the thing; it's just too big to actually manage. So
that's just authoritarianism. That's not fascism. That's just authoritarianism.
Hold on, I'm reading the research here.
You're reading the wiki, you mean?
No, I'm reading the research for the Warhammer Collective thing.
It's very religious too. It has it's a lot more like if Iran had a space empire than fascism.
Yes, but you also got to remember it's not religious in the traditional sense, in that there is no prescribed religion by and large. It's simply you should worship the emperor. But if some group of feral savages, for example, think, oh, we think the emperor is the sun, Imperium has no problem with that.
What, just as long as they're worshipping the emperor?
If you happen to have a high ecclesiarch, which says, no, the emperor is not the sun, you can literally impose his law on that planet.
And the thing is, in all your likelihood, he literally wouldn't be allowed to, because then he's fucking with the wider Imperium. Okay, this planet was running perfectly. What is your reason for doing this?
I mean, I have read a couple of lore, and I can give you citations, but you're going to say, oh, the author is someone that I like. Which basically points out the exact same thing when a high-ranking ecclesiarch comes in and changes shit.
And what happened to that ecclesiarch?
Nothing. Inquisitor Darkhammer was actually trying to get him out because he fucked it so bad that the Tyranids were invading.
I see. So you're saying that what happened to him was that an Inquisitor came in and told him to fuck off. That sounds like a slight bit more than nothing.
Well, the planet was under attack and was like, "This is a very important artifact, you need to get me out." I was like, okay, fine.
Okay.
The big thing is as well, it's a space bureaucracy too, yeah, right. They favor smooth running over ideology a lot of the time.
Absolutely. As long as the basic beliefs of that world appear to be in general acceptable limits, they'll be like, okay, well, we have an actual space empire to run, so let them believe the Emperor is the sun.
Speaking of things that I wanted to say, and I got sidetracked, are you aware of Comicsgate, Soccer?
Yes.
So there's this YouTuber, your boy Zach, right? And he has a comic book. I think it's called Jawbreakers.
Mm-hmm.
And in his comic books, the villains are MS-13. And Kickstarter banned him for being disrespectful towards the good gentlemen, the good boys of MS-13.
They didn't do nothing.
Didn't do nothing.
Yeah, they didn't do nothing.
Good
Man,
boys.
like, when I watched Rambo, in a way, I was actually pleased to see those people getting Rambo. And I was thinking, like, man, the left would be so livid if someone actually takes down a human trafficking organization. Like, they would legitimately hate it. Like, they would literally hate it if someone goes in and takes down, a human rights
human rights organization.
The 2019, the leftists want human trafficking.
They literally do. Like, they legitimately do, because you look at the reviews for Rambo, and they will actually leave it that human traffickers are the bad guys.
Well, I suppose they're presumably livid that people of color are bad guys.
Yeah, but why do they always defend the people of color that commit crimes? Is what?
Because they're people of color. They think of them like the Joker. They're victims of society. V.
They do not defend someone like Kanye West. They do not defend someone like.
That's because he's actually a white
right-winger that's. Yeah, any right-winger that's black. Like, for example, Silk and what's her name, Diamond and Silk.
They call them Uncle Toms.
Yeah. It's only like, and by the way, here's another thing, right? Like, the left believes that violent, sexist video games cause sexism. Yeah. The Joker is going to cause actual violence, that type of bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Why don't they believe rap music causes gangster culture?
Well, because black people are oppressed by white people, you see. They're looking at. I don't make the rules.
It's simply a way to resist.
Yeah.
Standing up to the man.
Exactly. It's resisting white imperialism or something, and there we go.
Oh, okay, then in that case, I'm going to resist white imperialism by watching The Joker. Because white imperialism is fucking social justice.
That's a good point, actually. It is getting kind of. I mean, Jesus, like, did you see the Australian Prime Minister the other day where she's like, we've got a duty to care for the whole world or something? I'm like, Jesus, I thought they voted for independence. Like, what was decolonization?
New Zealand is fine.
I'm pretty sure that was them saying you actually don't own our countries, right?
Man, I'm literally starting to believe that women aren't capable of ruling. Like, I'm looking. Okay, let's look at women. No, seriously, you know that it's been a while, and I'm looking. Okay, Angela Merkel. Like, let's go through them, all right? Angela Merkel.
Oh man, the Guardian article about this stream tomorrow is going to be gold.
Hold on, right? No, because I'm going through the names, right?
Oh, I'm not. I'm serious. Sorry, Karen.
You got Theresa May, which is absolutely baffling, right? You got this lady in New Zealand that's like, oh, a terrorist, an eco-fascist decided to shoot up a bus. Let's read his manifesto and accomplish literally everything he was setting out to do.
I just feel sorry for the New Zealanders, where it's like a foreigner's come over, he's committed a crime, we're taking your guns. What? Why? What did we do wrong?
You know, like, you watch the videos and it's just like old people that are almost crying as they're giving away, you know, their ancient muskets and shit like that they got from their father and they got from their grandparents. Yeah. It's like, and you know, the whole hijab virtue signaling. It's like, oh, so you want to show solidarity towards the women from the Muslim community? Fine. Why are you taking it off? Women in the Muslim community never take it off. You put it on, it stays on.
If anything, are you virtue signaling hard enough? I think we need to see you in a full burqa and niqab. Sorry, yes. I'm sorry. Maybe the total bias that even your eyes are covered, because like I don't think you're virtue signaling hard enough. I think you secretly hate Muslims. I think you're actually happy about the Christchurch shooter, whatever the Prime Minister of New Zealand's name is. I think you need to really work it. You got to do full Trudeau. You've got to commit. If you're going to paint yourself in blackface or Arab face or whatever it is she's doing, you've got to do the whole body. Anyway,
yeah, I can see some ankle. There's a bit of ankle showing.
Disgraceful. Saying that, did you see the other video of Justin Trudeau? I would say in blackface, but it's literally his entire body. He seems to have painted black.
And he even has like a big dick, like he put something in his pants to make it.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, like, either way, painting your entire body is commitment to the cause. I mean, that's someone who really enjoys blacking up, you know what I mean? So there.
I like it how people are getting desensitized now because there's so many pictures of him in blackface. It's not even news anymore.
Like what I want to do, what I want to do is like this Halloween, use blackface and say I'm Trudeau.
Oh God, yeah, the Halloween memes coming up for Trudeau. That's got to be.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, I'm the Canadian Prime Minister.
yeah. Go as the Canadian Prime Minister and paint your face black.
Yeah, and just so that there's no misconception. Like have a T-shirt that says Trudeau or something like that.
I think
or
that's.
Yeah,
no. Get a sash that just says Prime Minister of Canada.
Yeah. Wear like a toque. Get like a get a snowmobile.
Yeah. Anyway. Wizard's first rule. The first rule is people are stupid. They'll believe anything that they want to be true or they're afraid it's true. Good book. I don't know what book that's from, but that's basically the opinion of Carlos Mazza and the Vox, Ezra Klein, that sort of types. IGN Keiko says Netanyahu. I haven't been following what's happening to Netanyahu.
You know who's the only women that I like in leadership? Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
And the Russian queen, what was her name? The one that...
Catherine the Great?
Yeah.
I think Priti Patel's pretty awesome.
But,
I'm getting a Priti Patel waifu body pillow.
I mean, I guess maybe we don't have like a lot of, examples in history, but what pisses me off is not their politics, right? Because you can be like left-leaning and it's fine. That's the ideology, all right?
Uh-huh.
But it's the fact that they're against democracy. Like, you look at Angela Merkel, she doesn't give a fuck what people think. It's like, no, we're going to do what's right. You look at the Prime Minister of New Zealand. She doesn't have like a democratic referendum should we ban the guns or whatnot. Like, no, we're going to do what's right. It is this mentality, like we're going to do what's right, that really pisses me off.
Doing right pisses people off. Women. V thinks women shouldn't be in office. Anything else you want to add?
No, I didn't say shouldn't be in office. I'm just saying I can't think of one.
I can't think of a good one. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Feel free to change my mind. Like give me an
I've said
example.
Priti Patel's pretty good at the moment. I'm quite happy with that. And right in fairness, how many? No, hang on, stop. Let's send this the other way. In how many actually good male politicians are there compared to the number of shit ones? Like it's honestly like a fucking needle in a haystack, isn't it?
Because I like Trump. I like.
Yeah, he's not a politician though. He's a game show host. Like, he's not like your regular politician. So it's like, okay, if like the guy you like isn't a politician. I mean, like what politicians do we like? And I can't think of any that I actually like. I think they're all kind of shit.
Nah. Stop blackpilling me.
Well, no. All I'm saying is the professional. Well, no. The professional political class is essentially kind of a new thing. It's like go back to like Winston Churchill, and his Twitter feed would have been mental. It would have been like Donald Trump's Twitter feed, and like most.
Oh yeah, the BBC hated Churchill.
I'm sure they did. But this sort of the corporate political class that are concerned about optics and things like that, rude words being said and stuff. That's quite a new thing. I mean, there are quite a few. I mean, that's probably why Justin Trudeau thought, "Fuck it, I'll dress up in blackface." Like this isn't going to come back to haunt me or anything. But yeah, so I don't think it's just women. It's just there are just a lot of shit politicians.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, because we didn't have that many women politicians, so it's kind of hard to have like a big a big pool where you can accurately make a comparison.
But I do agree there is a greater propensity amongst female politicians to be like virtue signally social justice types.
It's not even virtue signally social justice types that bother me. It's the fact that it's like, this is what I think is right, and this is what we're going to do, regardless of what the people think.
Yeah.
On a note on the actual game for a second, fucking hell, these hard neutrals is making expanding really interesting.
Good. I've actually managed to pacify my area, but there's a giant robot stomping around, and I'm kind of nervous about encountering it, to be honest.
Yeah, I've got a Castellan sitting on I have 2 Imperial Bastions just sitting on nearby resource nodes. I'm like, well, I'm not getting those anytime soon.
So maybe the pre-World War I generations were right. Maybe war is a part of the human experience. Maybe we needed to keep us sharp. Yeah, not necessarily war, but I think there probably is something to the idea that without challenges, then we become depressed. And I think, like with the Mouse Utopia, we become a kind of person that the previous generations don't really recognize, and probably wouldn't much like.
It's not like we have to walk like 10 miles each uphill both ways to go to the well or some shit. It's that people don't have occupations anymore that stretch them. In fact, you'll find a lot of these communists are perpetual students. They don't have an occupation at all.
Yeah.
They have basically been in academia until they're 30. And a lot of them are now leaving that area, either being employed as activists, being employed by the university itself as, the next wave of academics, or they're just becoming baristas and getting very, very mad about it. You'll find a lot of people as well. I remember on Twitter there's a lot of anger as well towards landlords because they've realized they have to pay rent and taxes, and they hate. It's basically the behavior of a child.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the infantilization of an entire society.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
But I think the mental health crisis stems directly from this, and I think it's because they don't have any challenges, like real sort of existential challenges, I guess is the way we could describe it. Things that are genuinely like, oh Christ, I have to do this, and when something comes along that they have to do, I think they're useless at it. And they panic. I mean, I saw some guy tweeting, just some, when you see like a screenshot of a tweet going around that, and this guy's just like, I still don't know how people are supposed to work 40 hours a week, cook dinner, and, enjoy their weekends. And I'm like, what kind of failure at life do you have to be if you can't do that? That is the bare minimum. Like, What? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm totally unsympathetic. But it seems pathetic to be complaining about such a thing.
Maybe they have like very rich parents, so they genuinely like do not.
Yeah, but
experience hardship.
Yeah, but like if that's what you're complaining about, then that's your problem. That's not the environment. You know, that's a dreamlike environment for most people throughout all of human history. So usually start climate religion in Civ 5 and attack anyone with a high amount of factories. If they retaliate, just throw a how dare you at them. Good point. There's no justice in the world. We get a weak 40k series and Marvel 40k, which will probably be penned by literally who, yet Astartes gets ignored. Completely agree, Sean. And I tell you what, right, there's a part of me that's kind of hoping Zoe Quinn does get chosen to write it, because it'd just be so... It would just be hilarious, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm expecting essentially a write-off, you know, with the Marvel.
See, I disagree. I think Arch actually wants it to be good, because then he can talk more on his channel about this.
I think he gets better content if it's shit.
You can talk about it either way.
Yeah.
The thing is, if this is bad, then I view that as almost a half victory, because it'll tell Games Workshop that, okay, we actually have to take some care in picking our partners, instead of going like, oh, Marvel, they're the ones who like movies, right? Right? That sounds good.
Like people who are into social justice are into denial. When it fails, it's always for something, some other reason than social justice.
Because of misogynists review bombing them.
Yeah. I mean, look at the Comicsgate, right? Like they say, oh, it's because of event crossover that's doing poorly.
And how many people believe it? It's not like Comicsgate is a literal movement that has been sparked because it fails.
No, but it's like, you ask how many people believe it. It's the higher ups that believe it, and that's enough.
Well, that's fine. As long as they can believe anything they fucking want, as long as the audience doesn't.
I mean, I generally do not know what the audience or not, because I'm literally curious like how many people still enjoy comic books.
And look at the constant pushback against any and all SJW agenda, and you'll get a fairly good idea.
Yeah, but I'm generally curious, like how many people actually enjoy comic books and what they, versus like how many people just are getting politically involved into pushing back.
Well, for me, it'd be political involvement, because I'm not really.
Well, yeah, comics, obviously, but I'm talking like the average guy who just doesn't and just likes to read comic books and stuff.
Well, I'm sure the average guy would just like a good comic book, but I mean, I think we've crossed that bridge and we're on the other side now, where you're not getting a good comic book unless you fight for it. So there has to be.
You're not getting a good comic book.
Where was I joking? What was the lie?
In the mainstream, yeah. There's whole alternative economies happening now because the services have got so bad, people have got fed up.
Yeah. Well, they stopped serving their audience. So, if you want them to pay attention to you, you've got to make sure that they're aware that you're angry with what they're doing.
If you want to cover something interesting, look at the mass exodus of history channels from YouTube. They are creating their own networks. They're going, direct content only. Most of them are going off platform.
Yeah, but what's the problem with this? Because here's the thing: if I were to make it's like on YouTube, right? If I were to make a very edgy channel where I start cracking all the jokes I want and I start saying all the things that I want, I would be doubling in numbers the next day. The problem is that I would also get banned, and it's the same what happens with people in television. Like if you start making like Dave Chappelle and make a really good comedy sketch, then all the comedy clubs are going to ban you. You're going to find very difficult time finding business partners to work with. And that is literally the problem. It's not that people don't want to, it's that people are legitimately afraid.
Yeah.
You have to learn to make an internet career out of getting banned.
Yeah. Right. So the ozone layer hole is at its smallest amidst global warming. By Greta logic, that means CFCs are the answer to man-made climate change. Quick, everyone, break out the hairspray. Yeah.
People are saying that the ozone layer went smaller because of the regulations we had.
Well, that's true, as far as I'm aware. Sargon, you shared a Mises Institute article recently. You really should invest time into reading more of their content. They're really great at obliterating Marxism at its very basics. Well, yeah, that's true. Mises is one of the sort of neoliberal economists from the mid-20th century, for anyone who doesn't know, and is a hardcore libertarian, probably like the furthest far right libertarian I can think of, actually, off the top of my head. They're probably doubtless going to be worse though. I just don't go that far into it.
How ANCAP is he? Is he McNukes? Are we at the McNuke stage yet?
I would have to. I haven't read a huge amount of Mises. I stopped at Hayek and thought, right, that's far enough. But yeah, he's pretty based and red pilled when it comes to statism. Read The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. That's a recommendation. After your vid the other day, have you seen Hitchens in 2009, Don't Bow to Islam? Yes, I have seen Hitchens, Don't Bow to Islam. That was one of the inspirations for making that video, in fact, because everything that he said about Islam is coming true. So it's something we should be worried about. And not just Islam, but the reaction to Islam, the narrative surrounding it from the mainstream establishment. That's, that sort of thing. He literally said, criticize it while you can before they take that right away. And lo and behold, they're like, hey, this is a definition of Islamophobia that literally includes ISIS that you can't criticize. How about we adopt this? That he's not wrong at all. And we should have listened more closely. I'm slowly becoming a MGTOW incel, a MGTOW incel even. It's sad. Here's 5 schmeckles. I'm from buying tea and biscuits or whatever you spend my money on. Unironically, it is tea. I'm not going to lie. I will do a tea review, I promise. I'll put it on this channel.
Okay. Do I need to give my speech about how we cure the incel problem?
Yes. Ellen Powell decides to lay them or what?
No. What you do is you get the skinny low T incels and you transition them to be the girlfriends of the other half of the incels.
And they're lo and behold.
State enforced girlfriends brackets male.
Yeah.
Incel problem done overnight.
Trans women are women, no questions asked.
Didn't Hugo transition from
I tell you what.
God.
Tell you what,
yeah.
it's only a matter of time until I'm looking forward to the meme of we're progressive. I'm transitioning. We're getting married.
So I think Hugo and Jake are going to get married.
Yeah, give it 3 years. I bet they start getting. I bet
What
they're
I
in a
don't
relationship.
get is why is it every time there's a trans video, someone threatens violence? I think Jake was like, oh, if you make fun of Hugo, I'm going to have a conversation with you with my fist.
Oh, really? He's going to beat us up if we make fun of his girlfriend.
Yeah, it's what is it with transgender people and violence? It's the Ben Shapiro. If you keep it up, we're going to send you in an ambulance.
Ah, yeah, you'll go home in an ambulance. If only he'd replied, people don't go home in ambulances.
No, I was, oh, that's very ladylike of you. I'm sorry. All of a sudden, I have.
Yeah, but I think it would have been more effective to just make her look really stupid,
Or the it's ma'am thing, I think transphobia, by the way, is now becoming a slur, and we should stop using it. We should start using instead. It's mammophobia.
It's mammophobia.
Oh no! Let me tell you the counters to all of this because it's been fascinating. Have you been following Twitter in the last few days and Reddit actually?
I actually haven't. What's been
going on? There's been some backlash on that. What you do is you start calling them trans cells. No, because a lot of them are whining now that lesbians won't sleep with them and all that kind of shit.
Oh yeah, suck the cocky bigot. I know.
Yes. We've moved from that. Yeah, it is suck the dick bigot. But no, I've been going on an absolute tear, just identifying all these trans cell posts. I remember we went through one of them from Anna Valens at one time, the fucking Daily Dot journalist. But there's one from that trans cyclist, that set all those world records, man. Because testosterone, they came out and said that any sexual preference apart from being pansexual is immoral and self.
Yeah, well, my dick is very immoral, very selfish, very transphobic. Very
I can't help it. But no, I'm definitely making a video about that, Scrub.
And bouncing on my cock is a privilege, not a right. So fuck off.
Video about this tomorrow on my new channel.
God.
No, but seriously, that's a good point because unironically, if you're gonna say right, fuck gender roles, I'm gonna really fuck with this system, and that system is how people get laid. You fuck with the system, and you're like, I can't get laid. It's like, well, duh. What did you think was gonna happen? Now you're gonna shame people into having sex with you. What a weird thing.
Yeah, it is not going to work. It's I've yet to see someone, thank God, someone getting fired because they didn't suck a cock. Okay, I'm sure it's coming. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, there'll be a porn shoot somewhere where the woman or the guy refuses to suck a dick, and everyone's like, "You homophobe, you transphobe."
Yeah, you big. In the porn industry, there's already people that will not have sex with you had sex with transgender.
Really?
Well, a lot of that is to do with the massively increased age risk.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's nothing to do with.
No,
like,
I know. But since when is reality going to stop a good cancel culture?
Yeah.
I know. It's the big thing is a lot of them won't work with that side of the industry because the checks aren't as stringent. It's basically it's
basically institutionalized transphobia. Just say it, Scrump.
It's a very interesting one because a lot of those people have been quote unquote cancelled, and it's mainly because they don't want the extra age risk, which is fair enough.
Right. Guys, I love Warhammer. I love the Imperium and the Emperor. Praise be to him. But why don't they sell the best unit in Canada? I need my Death Corps fix. Why is that, Arch? Why don't they sell the Death Corps of Krieg in Canada?
Because Games Workshop is currently going on a fucking fatwa against all of their specialist rangers like that. Right. The Death Corps of Krieg, the Talon Desert Raiders, all of the conversion kits are being killed off one by one.
Well, that sucks.
For reasons as of yet undiscovered.
We are reaching peak left. What do you think will replace them? Who knows, man? I mean, well, I don't know. I would have thought the climate stuff actually would have become no. Islam won't, because Islam doesn't have the roots in Western culture that it would need to be. Listen.
You had a guy writing Islam is questionable on his house.
Yeah, but that's not because of Islam that happened.
That's because of woke culture.
Yeah, no. But my point is, how can you criticize Islam in British society?
By getting rid of woke culture.
Maybe.
It's the only way. It's the woke culture that's causing it. So that's Islam itself is no problem at all. The British public already, we know they don't like it. And I don't think they're suddenly going to be like, oh, actually, maybe pressing my wife is a good thing. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're ever going to buy it. The problem is it's being protected from scrutiny by the radical left, and that's the problem, isn't it?
Then again, I think we need to take a long, hard look on female oppression. I mean, come on.
Then again, maybe Islam does have a few.
I love that.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
It's the best thing that Paul's done since it's okay to be white.
Yeah.
It's okay to be white, and Islam is right about women are just wonderful.
Islam is right about women is even better because it draws in another group of people to the argument as well. The argument between the sort of liberal liberty types and then the leftist types draws the Muslims in, and they kind of have to side with you. So it's just like, you're welcome. But yeah, it was really great prank. We're reaching peak left. What do you think? Place on, I read that one. In a relationship with a girl who was a former member of the alt-right and Nazi beliefs, she says she feels guilty about it. Any advice on help her getting past it? Don't be German. You've got to be able to forgive yourself to move on.
Secretly sneak into the bedroom at night and spray paint swastikas everywhere. Then ignore them. Like, what? Swastikas? I don't see any. Is this a relapse, honey?
Disavow. Do not do that. That's a horrible, 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 and hilarious thing to do. Don't do it. But seriously though, I don't know, I guess don't make her feel like she has to do it. Just be like, well, look, it's a part of your life that you made a mistake in, and you've moved on, and
I don't know how alt-right are we talking here? Because a lot of the woke publications fall over themselves to get these former alt-right people in, and it's just like, oh, I once watched a Jordan Peterson YouTube.
Well, I think that if he's watching my channel, he's probably actually got a more accurate view of what the alt-right is than the leftists do.
I don't know.
Yeah, but just
people's political opinions evolve. Don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you beat yourself up about it, you'll never get past it. In the middle of watching Cromwell, it's an interesting movie, but how accurate is it to history? I've actually never seen the movie of Cromwell, but I would imagine that they try to keep it reasonably accurate. Sargon, Dame with a suggestion. Would you lobby for interviews of political figures outside of the English-speaking world? Would love to see you with interviews that English speakers can watch from politics of Germany or Denmark. I'm not adverse to the idea, but it's not a focus of mine. A focus of mine is now going to be my foreign policy with the orcs. But no, it's, you know, there's a lot happening in the Anglosphere. I mean, I don't even follow the politics of Canada, Australia, or New Zealand, man. Like, it takes a lot of time to keep on top of American and British domestic politics. So I don't...
that shit's a full-time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I don't tend to, but not that I'm suggesting you shouldn't or anything. But yeah, so
So I've been doing a bit of a deep dive into the history of the gay liberation movement.
Oh yeah.
And oh boy, have I found a lot of pedophiles.
Okay, go on. Do tell me more.
Okay, so one of the most recognized people for starting the gay rights movement was a guy called Harry Hay, who was a very, very vocal member of NAMBLA.
Right.
For those of you who don't know, that was basically that National Association of Man-Boy Love.
Yep.
And the problem is, though, that Harry was one of the people who set up the entire... he founded the Los Angeles chapter of the Gay Liberation Front. He's recognized as the first person to set up a gay rights society, and he was also a fully avowed communist.
Wow. Imagine that.
Largely responsible for push towards non-integration and the separation of gay as an identity from just people liking men and being normal people, which for a while I guess served them quite well on the activist front, but has come back to bite them now, in that they are now seen as a group of separate freaks from society, and there's a difference between being gay and quote-unquote LGBT in many people's eyes. It's interesting studying the history of where that fracture happened, because it's all communist pedophiles.
It's the same with the Green Party of Germany. They basically apologized for advocating to legalize pedophilia in Germany. And they actually had members that were involved with child trafficking in kindergartens and stuff back in the Weimar Republic.
Imagine that.
Yeah, you begin to understand why there was a lot of resistance to these movements. It's like, wow, who could oppose the gay rights movement? Well, it was kind of headed up by a lot of communist pedophiles, and I could understand the people's suspicion there. It's like, yeah, you know, basic rights for people of different lifestyles, but this is not what has been pushed for from the 60s onwards.
Yeah.
It's like studying an alternate history. It's like, wow, all these things are good, and as the people would say. And it's like, yes, but you're rewriting history.
It's not just it's what I hate about all of this stuff is the idea that they can just be like, our narrative is 100% good.
Yeah, it's also like the feminist movement. They used to bomb places, and you know they were a legit terrorist organization back in the day. Yeah, and they would have gotten their things without the violence. That's another thing.
Yeah, Harry Hay is to the gay rights movement what John Money is to the whole transgender. Because if you want some rabbit holes, yeah, go down the John Money rabbit hole if you want. There's another pedophile.
There's another.
Because he was the one who basically came up with the separation between sex and gender. He also came up with the idea of gender identity, in that if you raise a boy as a girl, that they will be a girl. When that's completely wrong. It caused a lot of huge psychological... And his victims, John Money's victims, they found out in later life that psychiatrists were more interested in protecting his theories than they were about treating. It was just mental.
It's interesting how they've got
really
victims,
hate the idea
isn't it?
that, like, the science is settled on something. It's like,
that's not
just
a word.
A decade ago, you know, we used to have electric shock therapy, you know, pray the gay way, like all these things that were done by psychologists. But not only that, like the lobotomy with using ice picks and the mental asylums, you know, like the science is not settled on anything. We try to get as close as possible to the truth, and you know, sometimes you just find out, oh, this thing didn't work, so you replace it. Or do you improve on it?
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff the LGBT movement spouts is based on the work and activism of both John Money and people like Harry Hay. And it's interesting when you go back in time and realize that they are regurgitating the discredited theories of pedophiles. It's a great wedge into there for people.
I'm curious how fast you would get your YouTube channel banned if you pointed that out, and I make a YouTube channel completely dedicated to that and actually get on it.
I need to do the YouTube thing at some point, but I'm just far too busy having a real job.
You mean a boring job where you have to get tired and can't set your own hours and all the bad things?
But with security.
Yeah, with security.
and a boss that probably isn't working against you to undermine your success. Yeah. There are reasons to have a proper job. Right, so Feast of Legends stream when? Probably not anytime soon, because I don't know what that is. What was I? Oh, yeah. A German kid who created the movement Plants for the Planet then planted 1 million trees. Why is Greta not like that? Because that's not really very exploitable, you see. There's not. I mean, what are you going to exploit there? It's like someone doing something right and good. What's the attraction to that?
It's been interesting, the transition of activism from problem, do something about problem, partially solve problem, to giant world-ending problem that they can't solve and no solution to it, because that lets you hang on for longer. Yeah,
that's exactly it. That means they can make money doing this, you see. Go on yachts, cruises across the Atlantic and stuff like this.
I'm gonna stop flying. I'll have to take my friend's £4 million yacht.
Yeah.
What world do you live in?
Suffering.
A nicer one than I. They've stolen her childhood, you bigots.
Yeah, they stole her childhood so she can sail around the world on a £4 million.
Yeah. Dumb question, but who's the archaeologist channel you did a video with a while back? It was about the DNA of the pharaoh. I don't know. Doesn't ring any bells, I'm afraid. I'd need a name, I think. Speaking of Warhammer stories, have you heard any of the All Guardsmen Party story? It's a good read. I have not. What about you, Arch?
I've seen it briefly. Not much of it. Couldn't really comment. Okay. V. When are you going to review the Russian propaganda cartoon, The Bulldog?
I'm not aware of The Bulldog.
Wow. Not very soon then, I suppose.
I know we were talking earlier about fiction. I've just realized I'm reading a lot of fiction too.
Oh, what have you been reading?
It's just not something that appeals to me at the moment.
Run away, you little shits.
It's called Tactics.
Tactical retreat.
Well, I wasn't exactly expecting an attack. What are your thoughts on the Scottish government making it a criminal offence to discipline your child by using a smack or slap or forcing them to eat? I think
Isn't that already illegal?
No, but the Scottish government is basically tyranny. Progressive nanny-state tyranny. That's what it is.
I mean, I get there are people who go overboard with physical punishment, but like if you tell your kid not to play in the street or don't do drugs, and you catch him, playing in the street and doing drugs, and you tell him again, and he does it yet again, don't you think like a slap is in order at some point?
I honestly don't think the state should be interfering this closely in the raising of your child.
The thing is, the forcing to eat thing is the thing that got me, and you literally cannot make your children eat their.
You broke up there, Scrump.
I said the forcing to eat thing is what got me. You quite literally can't make your children eat their.
I think he's trying to say something about vegetables.
I think you can't force your kid to eat veg.
It keeps cutting out just as you reach the actual information you're trying to deliver.
Right, is this working better now?
It is, yeah.
I have to leave and rejoin every so often because Discord's a great program. No, I'm saying that you literally can't make your children eat their veggies under the letter of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just not go into a quest of finding out.
It's pretty wild, isn't it? But I just view it as tyrannical. Like the Scottish government just doesn't give a shit. They're just like, no, we're going to tell you, we're going to invite ourselves into every aspect of your life. Fuck you. Your kids aren't yours; they're ours. That's what they're saying there, and it's like...
Well, they're the taxpayers, right?
Yeah,
they're the future
which is
taxpayers.
the government's, yeah.
They're the taxpayers' children now. Get
Basically,
used to it.
The big thing of the state raising the children is a huge aspect of what they've expanded the remit of schools. They've made it so you can't. It's much harder to homeschool children now. You can't take them out during term time.
Yep.
It's extremely difficult to get around the state owning your children.
Yeah, and this is genuinely a concern for me. I don't like this this state of affairs, you know. MS-13 are God's children. Disavow. The Salamanders and Space Wolves have vastly different beliefs than the Black Templars, who are insanely religious. That's about broad strokes. The Imperium of Man is an actual patriarchy, so feminists have to intervene to save us from ourselves.
See, that is the beautiful thing I love about the Imperium. It takes the realistic approach. If a world wants to be a patriarchy and it's able to meet the Imperium's tithes, go ahead. If it wants to be a matriarchy and reaches the Imperium's tithes, go ahead. Only when you stop paying your taxes does Big Brother go, maybe it's time for a shake-up.
That's pretty realistic, yeah.
I wish our government was like that. Just, let me sit here in my basement, okay, watching anime and Joker movies and everything, and you can come fuck with me if I don't pay my taxes, okay? Deal.
Imperium ties aren't even that big.
Radical libertarianism confirmed.
It's a lot less tax than I pay.
It's fairly fucking reasonable, though they do take them in people occasionally, so you know.
Well, yeah.
I've got some people they can take.
No, it's like going to the draft, you know.
Pretty much.
Oh god.
Hey, a free Sargon building.
Large Warhammer.
Okay. Have any of you guys read any of the
Nom.
It's all right. Keep going east, and you'll find V.
I did. I killed his hero unit.
Oh,
That's very easy in real life too.
good. V gets accidentally pincer moved. So for the argument for free speech, we should say my body, my choice, my words, my choice. Don't see how they can argue a person's right to choose their words. That's a good angle. I'll probably appropriate that and not credit you. So I'll credit you now, Frankie the nerdy boy. But no,
well,
that's...
when they talk about my body, my choice, I go like, well, my tax is my choice, you know, like my money, my choice.
Yeah.
I do not consent.
Unironically, though.
You can choose to not consent to pay taxes. It's just that the consequences will be severe.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, women get to decide if they want to keep a baby or not, which is fine. But then why don't men get to decide if they want to, you know, pay child support or not?
Because that would be patriarchal, and we can't have that.
Yeah.
I think Sweden actually has, like, you can have a male abortion. Like, you give up your parenting rights, all of them, and you basically don't have to pay for child support. Like, that was a law that was trying to be passed. I don't know if they managed to get it.
I am enjoying being back on Twitter right now because I am seeing more things. Oh, nice sweater shell. I'm at Scrump Monkey MD now. If you want to follow me for the 1 month,
Love it.
Yes, I'm Dr. Scrump.
Yeah.
But no, I saw something. Apparently, BBC Three made a supposed comedy sketch trying to shit at like stay-at-home mom, and it just ended up being this accidentally true thing about how frustrated career women are.
Oof.
Bernie would have been the one if it wasn't for the concept of aging. Aging is capitalist propaganda causing communist heart to fail. They need to just let Bernie die in peace. He is literally 78. Yeah, he's I think he's the oldest candidate, isn't he? He's
the
like
big thing with Bernie
ancient.
is that he'd slipped the third place before any of that.
Yeah. He wasn't even, he was going the way of Corbyn.
Yeah, he wasn't in contention.
Yeah. But unironically, he was far too old, and
Oh yeah.
Like, stop trying to elect old people, Americans. Joker movie,
Sure.
Ukraine investigation, the climate madness. Just when I think the left has reached the bottom, there's a lot more dirt in the hole. Yeah, right. It's all quite wild. like, I don't see any legitimacy to anything they're saying, and they look like they're blind and flailing. They're just like bug-eyed and desperate. It's like, no, there is, and it's like, it's not, though, is it? You know.
I like it. I like it how Russia didn't work, so now they've moved to the Ukraine.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing
and it's Joe Biden that did something wrong in Ukraine.
It is, yes.
Yeah, you know, it's like their own guy. It's like fucking idiots.
The thing that I don't get about the left, and a university professor with feminist degrees actually told me about it. It's like, they're Holocausting but refugees at the border. They're Holocausting them, and it's like, okay, if that's the case, why is the left trying to get the people out of America? Why is the left, you know, like Cory Booker, going across the border to bring refugees to get Holocausted?
Yeah, it's wild. It's like if I thought this was turning into Nazi Germany, it'd be like, Jews, get out of here. You know,
yeah, exactly.
They're going to kill you. You have to leave. You know, I'd be saying, look, flee. I'll help you. I'd help them, like, you know, underground railroad them out. You know, like fucking right. I will pay money for you to be able to get, to pay for a journey for you to get out of the country, so they don't murder you. But that's obviously the opposite of what's happening. People are desperate to get in.
Trump has set up a nightmare state with death camps in it. You should totally come here.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, they're bitching about, I don't know, Trump DNAing something where it's just like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
It's like you consent to be DNA the moment you hop the border.
Yeah, and they're like they pay lots of money to get rid of you if you come here illegally. So it's not like you can't just leave.
You know what pisses me the fuck off? Like, I was reading how the French police is helping migrants go into Britain. And there was this people smuggler that was taking 7,000 pounds per person. And I'm like, motherfucker, I don't have 7,000 pounds. Like, these people are fleeing poverty.
Yeah.
And they're more rich than me.
Yeah. How did they manage that? How did they manage that, man? That is a good amount of money, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, like, I looked at what the international press is saying. Apparently, Mexico is really that different than Romania. So everyone fleeing Mexico is like a spit in the face to me, because it's like, oh, you know, we don't like your lifestyle isn't good enough. Like, we need to flee poverty. It's like,
yeah,
man, like it really gets my blood boil. I'll make a video about it because it genuinely pisses me.
I'm subscribed to a bunch of like anti-Tommy Robinson pages on Facebook, and it's really funny. They've started bitching and moaning about Priti Patel because she's like, we're going to deport your ass, you know. Like, we don't care, and they're bitching and moaning about it, and I just, like, you know, there are like 30 comments, and you know, no you know, responses to any of them or likes on any of them, and so I just posted one comment: you're only posting this because you're a misogynist and a racist and you hate women of color. 30 replies, you know, something like that. It's like, yeah, fuck off. Just sit there. I live to wind these pages up. They're such insufferable assholes.
Yeah. Hard to deny that.
V is woke on the 19th Amendment. I believe that's the women voting amendment.
No. I'm okay with women voting. I'm just saying that I'm looking at the leaders, and I genuinely do not like what I see.
Yeah, I'm okay for women voting, because generally they vote for conservative men. So, you know, I'm more odds with beta male feminists voting. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, Anna Kasparian was livid that women didn't vote properly and
yeah.
got elected. So
exactly. Exactly. Women vote for their daddies. The bad guys in First Blood were rural white cops. Rambo is progressive and ahead of its time. Can confirm. V is right. The matriarchy is a danger to us all.
The first Rambo, no one dies except one guy, and it's not Rambo that kills him.
Oh, right, okay. V is right. The matriarchy is a danger to us all. Arch is wrong on the Imperial Church, you heretic. Arch, you've been called out.
Yeah, he is, but I'm not going to take this video to talk about.
The Imperial Church does not give a shit about local worship as long as it broadly is true to the Imperial faith. In other words, worship of the Emperor.
Right, okay.
I mean, how do you think a feral world savages would understand the Emperor?
The Omnissiah. And the only agreement is that the church doesn't look too much into it.
Like, well, you make my point for me. They literally accept.
Yeah, that's the only exception.
No, it's
one at a time. Good God.
How do you think feral worlds exist? Do you think they understand the Emperor, his history, the fact that he's kept alive by a golden throne?
Yeah, but you're making the difference between like what's practical and what's ideological. It's like the reason the church doesn't go into a feral world is because the feral world will just eat up, whatever missionary goes there.
Oh yes, I'm sure missionaries would think like, oh yeah, this isn't worth my bother. I might die.
The missionaries would say, "End your turn, so we can carry on."
We're not going to have a conversation on this live. If you want to have it, we'll have it on it.
The Wizard's first rule is from the book by the same name of the author Terry Goodkind. I haven't read it. Civil war will never break out. Living standards have evolved too much to be risked. In the old days, you had nothing to lose, but now you have every opportunity for prosperity. There's definitely something to that.
You say that, but then again, you also have progressive post-champagne socialists in the streets going, we have nothing to lose but our fucking chains.
Good point.
The thing is...
I don't think they've really got the grit in them to actually fight a civil war, though.
Possibly, but I genuinely think people are vastly underestimating, the power of propaganda these days. It's like, oh no, we will never be radicalized enough to do these horrible things. Looks back at human history. Wow, we've done this throughout our entire fucking living period. Huh?
Yeah, but the human history didn't have Twitter, did it?
And it didn't have this levels of comfort, let's be honest. Everyone's agitation these days stems from ideological desire rather than physical need.
Yeah, I mean, I was generally thinking about this. We live better than kings did in medieval time.
Yep, you can't have an existential crisis when you're running away from a mammoth.
Yeah.
I mean, the King of England.
It's a great quote, Scrump.
Yeah, the King of England in 1200 probably had a worse lifestyle than we do.
Absolutely, well, he would have been on horseback fighting. So I think that's actually Richard III that you're talking about there.
But the idea that people are so happy they can't be riled to anger, I think is just no.
It's not that they can't be riled to anger. Obviously they can, but it's like, what are they willing to fight an armed foe that's willing to fight them in return?
I mean, think about it in the old day, right? Like in the 1700s, right? You go to a protest, you riot or what, and then you come home. Nowadays, you go to a protest, they have facial recognition, they know who you are, you're going to get fired. It's a lot more different than things used to be. It needs to get really bad before people get angry.
Unless you're progressive, and that in that case, you can go don't give a shit about facial recognition. More V units to Om Nom Nom. Oh heavens! What have I done to deserve this bountiful glory?
Sorry, say again, Scrump.
I said you're just feeding him. You're just feeding him.
Okay. Loving these gaming chats. Keep them coming. Thanks very much. They're honestly a really great way to relax. I've been working, incidentally, I've been working on I study every day as well, but I've been working on the Demolition Man video a lot recently. That'll probably be next week by the time it's finished. Yeah. No. I'm
fucking saying this.
Yes, but it's going to be excellent. I promise you. I'm working really hard at it. It's going to be
a year later.
Look, right? Everyone said this about the Starship Troopers one, and that was worth the time. This will be the same, I promise.
That's a high bar, mate.
I know it's not going to be that good because the Starship Troopers one was at a particular nexus where it was contested, and I thought, right, okay, I can actually do something with this, But this will just be an interesting study,
Unironically, your second best video. The best one's the Alex Jones Doomguy one.
Thank you. That was easily one of my favorites, man. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that because it was a huge amount of work. The Day of the Rake is coming fast for Trudeau. Yeah, that's true. Hopefully. If Germans have consistently acted collectively and taken every ideology to its most extreme since they have been exposed to the larger world, do you think there is an evolutionary answer to this? Well, I think that German collectivism is an evolutionary problem because of the location of Germany, and I think that English liberalism is a feature of the geographic location of England. We've got a moat. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't be able to be like we are. And Germany can be invaded from any direction. So I think these are probably evolutionary traits.
Can and will be.
Yeah, can and will be, yeah. Sorry, it was me waiting for the end.
Last time it got invaded was via Austria.
I'd like to date his wife. Must be easy to please on 50 hours a week. Referring back to the guy who couldn't make his dinners and work a 50-hour week and then, quote, enjoy his weekend. he's not got a wife. He's going to be a single millennial who everyone who wonders why he has no friends. And there was a thing recently, I think it was on Vice magazine, where they posted an article. Apparently, 25% of millennials have not one friend, and everyone's wondering about the incel problem. Millennials seem to be the mice in the mouse utopia who wanted for nothing but hated everything they're doing and are having an existential crisis. Not that I'm not sympathetic.
Again, but back around it, like it's been hilarious watching all these people realize that a lot of the takes from these woke activists are just them complaining they have no friends and can't get laid.
Yeah. Let me intellectualize how I have no friends and can't get laid.
Basically, yeah. It's like, wait a minute. So it's just great watching all these people do all these woke takes and just 3 pages of okay trans.
But that is great. But you know how they always say they give you studies and surveys, and all they say I've got data to prove what I'm saying, right? If you think about it, I've been working on the Demolition Man video, but here's a snippet. Lelina Huxley does exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. Think about the scene where she's having sex with John Spartan, and she puts the hat on. They start doing things. He's like, "Oh, can't we just do it the old-fashioned way?" And she, like, in a very annoyed fashion, shuffles over and tries to put it back in his head, saying, "No, this has been proven to give you higher levels of, like, whatever brain activity it is that they're getting into, and so therefore it's better." And it's like, dude, that's not the only reason I'm doing this, you know? Like, oh, my brain activity. Like, but she gives, and whoever wrote this knew exactly the kind of people he was talking about.
Oh yeah. No, Demolition Man has aged actually really well. Well,
really well.
Part of it has. Well, a lot of that good stuff, a lot of the stuff about the infantilized society, the subterranean dwellers, but some of it gets kind of hand waved away. The problem is it's not the main thrust of the movie. The movie isn't actually about that stuff, and that kind of hamstrings it a bit.
Well, no, it's not. It's actually really clever. That just happens to be the world, but it is necessary to the plot because one of the really interesting things is that Simon Phoenix basically sides with John Spartan on the Cocteau question. I love the line, "You can't take away people's right to be arseholes." That's such a great line. And it really, like, resonates, because it really is true that you shouldn't be able to take away people's right to be an asshole. Even, it's not necessarily the thing you want people to do, but you should have the right to do it. And that's essentially the entire sort of nanny state worldview of Cocteau. BTFO'd in one line. Anyway, I'm going to get off the subject. Children, create a dictatorship to save the world. Globalist commies, if that's what you want. Evil laughter. Yeah, it's amazing how these things are coming together for the woke left, isn't it? They've wanted this for such a long time, and now they're getting it. It's like, really. Seen the call for Gandalf to be played by a woman in upcoming Amazon series? No, I haven't, but it was probably inevitable.
Well, was it ever in any of the Lord of the Rings movies specified that he was a man? Was there a sex scene? No? Well, there you go.
That's the question, isn't it? I mean, it probably is somewhere referenced that he is a man. It's been years since I read any of the Lord of the Rings books, obviously. So.
Well, the thing is, the thing they keep preying on is that there is no, like... They don't specifically say he was male. They merely describe him. Oh, handsome, masculine features. And then they go like, well, a woman could be masculine.
They do, but they're probably... That's what I mean. Like, because of the way... the time it was written, there probably is actually a passage in there saying, he, before Aragorn stood a man, it might well actually say something like that.
A long description of Gandalf's penis.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's a man, does it?
That's true.
Honestly, Art, you're not very progressive today.
It could be a feminine penis, you fucking bigot.
Liam Gray here, formerly Ashik Soldier, Comicsgate creator. Check out Xenotype on Twitter. Hashtag Xenotype on Twitter for the most highly anticipated comic book of 2019. Well, I'm not a comic fan, but if you are, I would definitely go and do that because he sent me £5. And that's how cheap it is to use me as a fucking mouthpiece. See, I should just do sponsored videos.
Sagan of a hole.
Mate, I've never done a sponsored video. Like when this Candid stuff happened, there were loads of like the alt-right or IBS Spurgs who were trying to like be like, "Oh, you shoved Candid." It's like, when did I do this? I've never.
All you said was that you thought some of the stuff about it was overblown, which it kind of
yes, which it inevitably was, because that's the nature of like internet outrage culture, no matter who's doing it. Like that's just a safe line to take on any subject. To be honest, you can't go wrong with that.
Right now, Sargon, would you like to live on as my vassal?
You mean, would you like to overthrow V?
I'll take that one too.
I'm happy for you to try and overthrow V, while I just stand here and build a massive army.
Okay, so declare war on Sargon first. Got it.
V's already done that, so I'm actually reasonably prepared to fight a war at this point.
See, I've already nommed quite a few of these things, so I'm thinking he might be weak and vulnerable.
I destroyed loads of his stuff too, so he probably is.
Yummy.
He managed to take out one of my cities, though. I was very disappointed. But what V forgets is that my cities cost the price of a group of cultists, so it's actually not a great loss. Mate, I actually think the woke journos generally want a massacre to happen. These people are technocratic, puritanical, authoritarian sadists. Correct description, and I completely agree with the if you're talking about the Joker, and I think what you're talking about is like the Joker movie. I think they're praying for an incel shooter. I honestly
definitely.
think
and I think with Greta, they're praying to be a monster.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think they want that for the narrative, because then the narrative becomes unimpeachable. Pure child activist gets killed by incel shooter or something. My God, this is heavy stuff, and they can really make some hay out of this.
What the?
What the what?
Oh, are these not AI? Sorry, I thought these were AI.
Grrr. There shall be blood.
I generally do not know how to build another orc city, and it's very frustrating.
For orcs, I have known the unit. I think, fuck yeah, I don't remember. I know they can. I just don't know.
Well, yeah. And anyway, I probably lost because I took down Sargon's one city and half of his army, so I don't have any more units now.
Well,
V, stop just abandoning.
Well,
I love it that V flees after the first defeat.
You need to play a 1v1 with me if you want to know if it's stronger. Like, I'm not going to go to war with someone.
But surely you would have lost that 1v1.
Well, I didn't lose
yeah, but me and Arch are now having a fight.
You and Arch came from behind and started picking up my hero units and shit, so I'm sorry.
Dude, me and Arch are now in the middle of
a... coming from behind.
Yeah, but me and Arch are now in the middle of a battle. What the hell? Like,
I didn't know how to construct another city, so...
then you should have just
Google it.
We could have helped you.
Google.
Alt tab. How in Gladius? How do you construct a second orc city? I bet I can find out in seconds.
No, we need to find another guy so he can play 2v2.
Oh.
So you can't be solely responsible for getting your ass handed to you?
All right, shall we go back to the main menu and we'll give you a hard AI or something?
No. It's I'll play next time.
Don't be a sore loser.
Connection
I'm
lost.
not a sore loser.
Wait, come on, come on, it's feel worse.
Sargon, do you have any idea the amount of shit I had built up? I had 16 warriors about to descend on your...
Oh man, I'm gutted, but we've got to start again because of V.
I was about to teach you the meaning of buttfuckery, and you just...
that sounds like a good fight.
Why don't you finish your work?
But I just quit because I thought we were going to start a new one.
No.
The sheer amount of shit.
Okay, Arch, it'll be me and you then.
My tragedy. My sadness.
Man, I play StarCraft. Whenever you think you lose, you surrender and you leave the game. I don't understand why you're bothered about me leaving.
This isn't StarCraft.
And you'd lost one fight.
Yeah, but I looked at the units. I understand the strategical situation. I don't have a chance.
And then you decide, right, I'm too much for bitch. So I'm just gonna...
bitch. It's like, I know I
Dude,
lost.
Totally, bitch. Like, the thing is, me and Arch would have fought each other, and the thing is, I had a fair amount on the build as well. I had quite a lot going.
Possibly,
so Arch would have taken...
Yeah, but units, so.
Yeah, but Arch would have taken huge casualties in this fight.
Possibly, but the enslavers already took my hero units.
Yeah, but you could just build new ones.
No, because I only had one city.
You could have, Googled it. Do you want another game, Arch? If he isn't going to join us, we can still play.
Little faggot.
Because I was enjoying that. I'd lost a city and I was still fighting.
Why didn't you keep playing? I don't understand. Like, what happened was we were fighting. Arch picked up my units from behind. I took half of your army.
So I thought you wanted to start again.
I only nommed one of your heroes.
I'm not going to listen. You're just butthurt because I didn't stay and just had an easy win or some shit. I don't know.
I'm gonna run away now because I'm sad. My
I didn't run away. I was like, all right, you won.
Hang on. Can I just say that the chat has got this right. V kicks himself. That's what...
I lost the game.
You hadn't actually lost the game.
No, I did lose the game. I conceded.
Anyway,
it took me about 15 seconds. You build new cities as orcs with mechs units.
Yeah, how do you build mech units?
The mech unit is 5-turn production. Let's see.
It's not even difficult to get.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Right, you guys figure that out. I'm gonna go get a cup of tea. I'll be back in a second.
It's one of the basic builder units. It's tier 2.
I don't know. I had copters and shit, but I didn't have that.
Well, you had more than enough copters for both of us. Mock V. Mock him.
Was very frustrating to have like 1 HP hero units be getting picked off by yours. While I was busy fighting Sarda.
Hey, you were wandering across no man's land, and I was like, "Oh, biscuit."
Yeah, it was very annoying. Should have went for you.
Oh, you would have gotten fucking murdered.
I don't know. Like, look at the replay. I don't know if you can have it. I had the army.
The thing is, what I was producing at that point was just not funny. Like the Tyranids. Oh god, the Tyranids.
So
I had a very slow start.
Yeah, you were basically just gearing up to steamroll everything.
At that point, like, I was producing basic infantry every 2 turns from my city. I could have just pumped out never-ending stream of these things.
I mean, if your infantry is good against flying units, maybe, but I had a lot of copters.
Oh yeah, they're shooters. And I was about to start producing the heavies as well. I could pump those that are probably 1 every 5 turns.
We should do a 1v1 sometimes, Arch.
I don't want to embarrass you that much. See, now I can allow you to keep the idea that maybe you could possibly do something. What's in reality?
All I think is that you're pussing out from the 1v1. I keep hearing excuses. And I told you why I don't like 1v1 free. Like 2 people are fighting, the third one that stays out is going to win.
Yeah, that's why you don't engage. You need to be a bit careful. Oh, right. So Sargon went to get tea, so that means we're on an hour or so break, probably.
Yeah, I'm in charge now. We're all in charge now.
To give Sargon a chance, I'm going to select random faction, so I have no fucking idea what comes up.
I'm curious if the Necrons are any good in this game.
The Necrons are good, but they're fucking boring.
Why? The units are lame or what?
They got very few types of units, and all the units basically do the same thing. Honestly, one of the best factions that I play with is the Orcs. They've got a hard early game, but once you start pumping out warbikes and copters, it's basically all mechanized, which a lot of factions have a hard time dealing with.
We log hours who up.
These Orcs nows. Also, one thing that annoys me almost as much as V rolling his face across his keyboard is the Sphinx Marine artillery piece in this game. The Hunter is an anti-aircraft vehicle, and it is used to shoot ground targets.
I'm gonna go play something. You guys have fun.
Okay.
Wow. Wow, V. Wow.
Dude, it's 2 a.m.
You are so salty. No, it's not. It's 20 to 2. No, it's not even that. It's 20 to 1 where you are.
You know, I go like, okay, I'm going to play some Street Fighter. Oh, V is rolling his face on the keyboard. I'm like, all right, I lost this game. Gotta play something else. Oh, you're so salty for losing this game. It's like,
V, why did you lie about
I'm gonna go play Ghost Blade then. Gonna leave you. You're so salty for leaving. Fuck off, you gaslighting twats.
V, I know what time zone you're in. It's not 2 a.m.
What?
It is 1:43 a.m. Scrum.
Oh, so that
Go
means
to
you're in the
Google,
eastern half.
Go to Bucharest time.
Bucharest time's 2 hours, mate.
Man, it is 1:43 a.m.
Why are you guys gaslighting V just out of interest?
They're telling me the time that I'm literally noticing on the corner of my screen is not the correct.
He's being hurt. It's kind of tragic, really.
Okay, well, click Start Arch and choose a team or whatever. Or choose a side. Did V back Cyberfrog? Did you back Cyberfrog, V?
No, I don't have that much money, to be honest. I would have loved to purchase Uncle Ethan stuff, and I probably will. Once I finish furnishing my house, I definitely am planning to buy a couple of things.
Right, okay.
But I'm telling you what, I'm definitely borrowing money so I can go see the Joker.
I think this is an old Romanian thing, right? It's like where you claim to have absolutely no money at all.
What? The borrowing money or what?
Yeah, but look,
The land sharking?
surely you don't need to borrow money to go to the cinema with 100,000 subscribers.
No, I just bought my kitchen this month, so I'm
Alright.
waiting for YouTube to pay me in order to actually get back on my feet. I got everything planned out up until the last, like after the last dollar. So.
I'm gonna say YouTube money for you is like a huge amount because I know how little the Romanian lei is worth. So.
No, it's the taxing that is the big problem.
Ah, right. Yes, the taxes.
If Trump is the God Emperor, we'd better find Horus before 2020. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Kay. If you think Mises is radical, listen to Hans Hermann Hoppe talk about private law society. I've been deliberately avoiding it for the same reasons that I deliberately avoid Minecraft. Hi, Soyden. Oh, hi, Rust Daddy. August Ames did nothing wrong. Civilization builds the ozone layer faster than it destroys it. Spark plugs in your vehicle contributes to the ozone layer with its spark gap. Well, then we need to do something about spark plugs. Try Bigelow brand peppermint tea, no milk and sugar. I will take that under advisement. Thank you very much. Official Praetorian Guard models with Melchett mustaches when? Yeah, that's a good question. Sorry, I have to build something.
You know what? We should definitely play Total Warhammer 2.
Oh my god. You didn't even lose this game and you're onto a new game. Like for ages he's like, hey, we should play this, we should play this.
No,
and I'm like, okay, it's good, let's play it. It's like, no, I lost.
Sell my house. All right, listen. Sell my house, put all the money on that if we were to reload the game, you play my faction, there is no way you can.
I'll just Google how to do it, mate.
No, man, you have one city, you have 0 units.
You can have more than one city.
And you have a massive army, like Arch was producing 2 units per turn from what I heard.
Okay.
There is no way you can physically have won that game. So when you can't win the game,
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Yeah, well.
Anyway. Well, you stay out of it and wait for everyone else to kill each other.
Yeah, you're free to kick yourself though if you have to.
Man, when we play strategy games, this is how I play. If I notice that I don't have a chance at winning,
It's like the Mexicans self-reporting, V self-kicking.
I want to make a joke about the Ottomans. I really do.
The thing is, even in theory, I do agree. If you are in a position where it is literally impossible to win, to save the other party time, you should surrender. But this is a slow game. You had not lost yet.
Yeah, at all. I think you're wildly overreacting, Heavy.
Arch, look at the review and tell me that wasn't the last game.
I don't agree that was a lost game at all.
Okay, what units did I have left?
It doesn't matter. I'm like there.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? It's literally what
Mate,
matters.
when you attacked me, you wiped out all of my units. I just built new ones.
I'm not even going to get into this.
It's because I won the argument there, isn't it?
No, you didn't win the argument. You don't even know what I had.
Nothing.
All right, how can you win when you have nothing? And
You
your
build
opponent
stuff.
not only has a big army, but he's also building 2 units per turn.
You build stuff.
Oh.
Anyway, romanticizing the Victorian era, bring back the empire in American isolation. Cheers from Florida. Yeah, it sounds like a bad time. I'm going to get in trouble for that. State benefits became cuck parent of last result, resulting in some women making unwise choices about whom they choose to pursue and procreate with. No surprise that other men are unwilling to play second or third choice parent. It's a fair point. Like it's honestly, some women are failing to take responsibility for their contribution to raising children with emotional disorders, given the fact that so many of them are raised by single mums.
Well, isn't the whole thing with social justice about giving people the ability not to take responsibility for their poor decisions?
Yeah. That does seem to be
they
the
literally
entire point.
infantilize all of the people they claim to protect.
Yeah. Thanks for all the years from Denmark. What do you think of us? And Kick V for all. Send love to the North guy, my North guy Arch. I've never been to Denmark, but it is somewhere I plan to go. I'm very impressed at the policy decisions of their government, actually, from what I've seen in regards to the refugee crisis. It seems to have been sensible and humane, unlike Sweden, which seems to have been total submission. So Denmark seems to have been relatively based and red-pilled in that regard.
But what is Denmark's policy on refugees?
Send them to an island, take all their money away from them. Yeah.
But does all the countries have an island to send people?
Well, the island can also be metaphorical. There's a grey area between the absolute Zionist support for all things Israel and blaming the dirty Jews for everything. I think we know how dark this grey area is, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I don't know what that means, but I agree that there is a position between saying the Jews are responsible for everything and saying that Zion did nothing wrong. So, yeah. Sounds like the current state of the NRA...
You're saying they aren't?
What?
Nothing. It's okay.
Are we about to get the stream taken down, are we? Great.
No. I was being ironic. It's like, wow, I thought you guys were supposed to be alt-right. I'm on the wrong stream here.
I know.
Wow, you guys are liberals for real.
Oh,
geez, oh fuck.
Yeah, I love the idea of a BuzzFeed guy sneaking into my Discord and getting loads of helicopter memes. Sounds like the current state of the NRA, currently run by people not concerned about actually fighting for gun rights. Yeah, you get this with any kind of activist organization. Suddenly, position in the organization becomes important, and this is essentially what happened to David Silverman. He got Me Too'd because of his status, not because he did anything wrong. Can't wait for Black Female Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings show. Yeah, it'll be very progressive.
Man, I saw the Black James Bond. It was...
honestly, Black James Bond isn't so bad because James Bond, it's never been clear whether it's a position, like a pseudonym, or an actual
they always
person.
do that. It's like picking up the mantle. So interesting.
Well, no, in canon, in the canon of James Bond, it's never really been clear as far as I'm aware.
I guess, but it's still like, they only do this for pandering. It's not like someone came up with the script and then they were like, you know what, this would be a really great script. This would actually add a lot of the story. It's just pandering.
Mate, there was a Scottish James Bond. Okay, a black one is by far the least offensive thing that's going to have happened to James Bond.
It's not about offensive. I know the movie will be shit. It's not because of the Black James Bond, but because the people who come up with stuff can't write for shit.
Well, yeah.
They're literally so talentless that they need to pick up these things. It's like, oh, look, a Black James Bond. Oh, aren't you offended? Oh.
Honestly, Caleb, Whoopi Goldberg as Gandalf would be pretty awesome, actually. I think I'd find that incredibly meme-worthy.
Oh, God. It'd be funny for 5 seconds for the meme.
I genuinely think I'd find that enjoyable. Anyway, Marvel is doing a 40k comic. Is it going to be canon? If so, female Space Marines incoming. Ooh, that's a good point. Arch, did you consider that?
Female Space Marines. Well, see, they've been like a thing that has been hanging over the fandom for all eternity, but I don't know if they'll ever have the retardation to do it. I fucking hope not.
I bet it's going to
maybe Gilliman was going to come up with a solution.
Trans Space Marines. That's what we're looking at. It's very progressive. The future is female. So much so even the men are getting on it. Given the amount of rewriting of history the left has done over the years, have you ever wondered how much of what you know to be historical fact may just be more revision by some previous political zealot? It's kind of worrying. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. A lot of things are in question in that regard, and we just have to take the one that seems the most likely. There's not a lot we can do about it. Like, Caesar's commentaries on Gaul are the example of this, because we just don't know. It's like there's an argument. It's like, well, he would have had lots of contemporaries and lots of soldiers in the army, blah blah. But sure, but we don't know that they didn't at the time. They might have been lost. Their response video effectively, books to what he's saying. So they might have been lost or suppressed. And Caesar is his not only the conqueror but also the journalist. So it's like big think here. And not just that, like, the Crusades. One of the Crusaders was the one chronicling it and things like this, the unknown chronicler. And so you've just got that question hanging over all of our documented historical evidence. Archaeology is obviously more firm.
You don't even have to go that far back. Like, even if you see World War II history, if you read about it like 2 years ago and read about it now, you will see that tons of stuff have changed. Like, we figured out new things, or we figured out that this wasn't quite what we thought, or this setup was different. Like, for example, there was this huge thing that the British Army during the Second World War was completely caught unaware by the fact that the Germans had developed tanks, and so they hadn't, sent out any anti-tank guns. Mm-hmm. Whilst in reality, the British infantry units were actually fairly well equipped with anti-tank guns. It's just that they never got them into the areas where they fucking needed them because they kept them near the company headquarters.
Interesting.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna duck out. I think it's my bedtime.
Okay, duck man. Have fun at your normie job.
I just have an actual sleep cycle, so I go to bed and get up at reasonable time.
Yeah.
Filthy, dirty normie scum.
Have a good one.
Right, next one. Oh, Scrump, you still here? Oh. Someone sent in the super chat saying, have you got any plans for Halloween? So, sorry, I just...
dress up as Trudeau.
Yeah, I think that should be something we do, is, mass blackfacing, going as the Prime Minister of Canada.
You don't have the balls to do that in Britain.
No fucking way do I have the balls to do it. It'll doubtless get me arrested. There's no way I'm doing it.
Get you arrested? Is that a crime? Like,
I don't know, but mate, I don't know, but I don't want to risk it. Like, how am I to know?
Teaching your dog to raise its paw is a crime.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you'd be surprised at things that are apparently crimes in modern Britain, so I'm not taking the risk. Feast of Legends...
Curious, like, what article you would be in violation of, though?
Oh, it'd be some gross offence of some sort.
Gross offence?
Yeah, no, mate, I'm not joking. That's unironically what they'll say. It'll be against black people, presumably. So yeah, I'm not going to be stupid. Also, I'm not really one for dressing up and stuff. I don't really care for that kind of thing. So,
you can dress your kid up as Trudeau.
Yeah, I'm not going to politicize my child in blackface. Believe it or not.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah,
yes.
He's not going to be the next Greta, okay? Thank you. Like, I love my son, Like,
if I was a father, I would have been, how can I make my kid the Greta and be set up for life?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Feast of Legends is a TT RPG released by Wendy's, okay? Thanks for all the wonderful content, Sargon. Arch, I've watched your entire Siege of Vrax and Horus Heresy playlists. Send help or the Emperor.
No help required, brother. Just keep watching.
Fortnite every day. I love to play Fortnite every day. I play until I go night-night. Fortnite. Mario vs. Pit sent that. He sent me $50 to send that. Man, honestly, I'm not even sure that was enough. No, thank you very much. Sargon, I request you to do a movie review of Cromwell. It may not be new, but boy, is it relevant. I will consider it after I've done the Demolition Man one. Jess Phillips on TV makes my head hurt. Well, it's where we get our best content from, though. Let's be honest. Oh, shit, I ran into the yellow player. Ever read William Travis's Letter to the American Government? No, I don't think I actually read that. I've been lying about... I've been thinking about lying / flip-flopping politicians. What do you think about the idea of politicians having to provide individual manifestos and get those notarized, so if they flip, you can sue them as fraudulent? I think it'd be a lot of work, and I don't think they're going to agree to it. But I mean,
it's also difficult because not all broken promises are broken because of cuntish politicians. Like, look at Boris, for example. His current position isn't because he doesn't want to do something; it's because he's in a minority government and literally can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, they have literally passed a law to say he can't do the thing he wants to do. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's
it's not only that. It's like imagine like you have to go through a divorce and the judge tells you like, yeah, you have to sell your house to your wife's father and you have to take whatever deal he gives you. You're not going to get a good deal. Like you literally can't negotiate at that point.
Yeah, it's absurd, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous that this is the position we're in at this point.
It's also absurd that you haven't ended your turn yet.
Yeah, I know. I was building something. Schindler's List in reverse, smuggling people in. Yeah, that's that. But doesn't that just imply that they think the rest of the world is Nazi Germany if they're trying to get everyone desperately into our countries? It's like what? And the thing is, that video we watched the other day of Francesca Fiorentini or whatever her name is, saying like they can't have democracy unless they come to the United States. It's like that is a low opinion of non-white people that she has. They'll never get democracy.
Unfortunately, it's true. Like, look at the Middle East. They have a revolution. They manage to get votes, and they vote for totalitarian regimes. Just maybe some people just do not want democracy.
Okay, and that seems to be an argument against mass immigration.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not making an argument for or against, but if you're going to say, well, there are some people that can't have democracy, well, it might be true. Like if
well, I'm not saying that. That's what they're saying. I don't think that.
Well, but look,
some nations genuinely don't want it.
Yeah,
like
some
Russia,
nations genuinely don't want. Like if you allow people to choose and they choose a dictatorship, doesn't that mean that they don't want democracy?
I'm not saying otherwise. What I'm saying is the progressives are talking as if the rest of the world is savage and barbaric, which again it just plays into the whole white man burden thing.
I mean, look. The thing with dictatorships, right? If you think about it, there are advantages, and there are some people that are more likely drawn to that. Like when you live in a dictatorship.
I learned that from Justin Trudeau, who said that he admired China's autocracy. Yeah, I'm not joking. He said that.
When you live in a dictatorship, you don't have to do much thinking. Like the state does the thinking for you. So it's like you don't have to worry about the future. Like this is going to be the job that you're going to be working for the rest of your life. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to behave in society. It's not as chaotic as in a democratic place. And there are people who are drawn to that type of lifestyle. There are people who legitimately want to live like that.
There are also those who just cherish the things it enforce. Like, there are people that generally think that the social credit system in China is a good thing because it'll force people to act decently.
Yeah. The moral authoritarians.
Game.
There's the moral busybodies. Every society has a percentage of them. And they're insufferable no matter what the society.
Yeah. But think about it. Like, every day you have to get up. It's an awful way to live.
You cut off there, but I assume it probably was an awful way to live.
It's like every day you have to wake up and find out how to point on social media. It's such an awful way to live.
Yeah, I can't even imagine why anyone would choose to live that way.
It's like real life, the role-playing game.
Yeah. Like, it's just antithesis of freedom. And that's the future.
And besides, before I go, I want to point out the obvious. Totalitarian dictatorship regimes are amazing if you're the one that gets to rule them.
Well, obviously. You should speak with Turd Flinging Monkey. He has an answer for the female question. That's a MGTOW channel, isn't it? So yeah, I can probably guess what the answer to the female question is.
I too have an answer to the female question. Genetically engineered catgirls.
Britannia Forever, yes, correct. I'm having Barbara Spectre around for tea, 1 lump or 2 babs. NEC elections recommendations. Anyone who agrees with Richard Brain is good enough, I would say, at this point. Right-wing coup is more likely than a civil war. Probably. Disavow.
Anyway, thanks for playing. It was fun talking to you guys, and if you guys want to play tomorrow, I'll be out.
Well, as long as you're not going to quit after the first defeat.
Well, first of all, maybe we can find another person, so it's...
So you can blame somebody else for your defeat?
Yeah, well, how does that change anything?
Anyway, have fun. See you later.
I see you, man. Yeah. Bye.
And we will never let you forget this.
Yeah. I don't... Just... No, that's it. I've lost one army. That's it. Defeated forever. Okay, how did you get that army? Illegals and jerks. They get in, steal identities, drive without insurance, burden our schools, hospitals, and get caught. If caught, cost hundreds of thousands in care, education, and courts. Yeah, they cost you money. There's no question of it. Say hi to Dr. Nick to V. Sorry, I missed him. Kindly let Arch know how Spiffing is playing Armour 3. Slaanesh is right about the Eldar. What's Slaanesh's opinion on the Eldar?
Tasty.
Fair enough. Have you read Mendicus Moldbug's open letter to open-minded progressives? It's a reactionary starting point. If yes, what do you think about it? No, I haven't read that, I'm afraid. If the letter wasn't addressed to me, I didn't read it, and even then I probably didn't read it. Arch is wrong. V is surprisingly more right shook. Arch. A border prince with Warhammer lore thinks that V's right and you're wrong on the Imperial Church question.
Well, it's just silly.
I'm not a Warhammer lore expert.
It is literally just a silly thing.
Could you try to interview Maxime Bernier? I'm happy to, but I'm not likely to go to Canada in the near future. I've got no plans to do so. Sargon, have you seen the video of Will Franken's comedy sketch called Climate Change Trans Counselling on YouTube? Comedy Unleashed channel? No, I haven't. I'll check it out, though. Will Franken's comedy sketch called Climate Change... Right, I'm going to put that in a browser window and find that afterwards. And that's the millionth browser window I have, but I will look at that. Stop watching Kyle Kalinske. He's a hack and supports the Squad. Well, we knew he supported the Squad. I mean, he was one of the Justice Democrats, and they are Justice Democrats. So, that's something we already knew. He has become noticeably more partisan of late, though. It's kind of insufferable, I guess. But I mean, I suppose I have in my own way as well. So, I think it's just all of the political sides sort of reaching their logical endpoints and realizing that on certain issues they can't ever have a concordance with other political positions and saying, right, to hell with you then, you are the enemy. It's like, okay, that's healthy. I'm sure this won't end badly or anything. I only struggle to socialise outside of work because I work 14 days at a time, 12 to 15 hours a day, having to stay at hotels and being allowed to drink and not being allowed to drink until my day's off. Man, you've got a rough job. Like, millennials probably quaking at the very idea of doing actual work. Making Gandalf a woman, fine, but given big old titties and a revealing robe, I can get on board with anime Gandalf girl. I tell you, that would be absolutely hilarious, wouldn't it? It's like, we're going to have the first female Gandalf, and it's a waifu. I think that would be great. What, is there something around my building? There is. Kill it. Sorry, I'm just doing game thing. Pussy V abandons something just because it doesn't go his way as usual.
As usual? Oh, he has a history of this, does he?
Well, that's what I've heard from reliable sources in the chat.
Most damaging to V's reputation.
How is a burger not a sandwich? Because it's not between two slices of bread. It's between two slices of bun.
Entirely agree.
Breads
it's
are
not
buns.
a sandwich.
No.
That's just retarded.
I mean, why would you even ask that question? Oh god, I'm about to get reamed by the computer. Shouldn't have put them on hard, really. Hey Arch, what do you think of the new Total Warhammer 2 and Beast DLC? The Hunter and Beast DLC, sorry.
Honestly, I just don't keep up with Total War Warhammer's DLC anymore. It's... The game is cool, but it's just... I don't know. After playing the Total War Rome 2 mod, the Divide et Imperia, which actually makes Total War what Total War used to be, I've gotten so apathetic towards CA's Total War.
Yeah, they've kind of buggered it up in my opinion. I really didn't enjoy Total War Warhammer. I don't even know if I can put my finger on it, but there was just something about it that I just found, well, just kind of boring. Like, I know, like, what was it? Like, it just felt like a video game. You know, when I was playing Rome Total War, I didn't really feel like I was playing a video game. And so I really liked it. But when I was playing Warhammer, it just felt like I was just playing some crappy game. And I was like, okay. I mean, maybe I'm being too picky and whatnot, but I reserve the right.
It's a very baseline Total War game. Like, it does so very little with the campaign map and stuff. It just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Divide et Imperia, it takes all of the things that Total War has lost over the years and adds them back in. And despite it being slower and harder and all of these things, it just feels way better.
Yeah, I'm getting messed up by the AI. This is not good. Jesus. I told you though, I played it the other day with a friend of mine, and the AI on hard is just unbelievably hard. So I probably should have not done that, but it's fine. I'm not gonna V. I'm gonna wait till they actually destroy me.
Where are you? And I can start heading over there to try and help.
Southwest. What's this game called? It's called Gladius. Warhammer 40,000 Gladius. This is so true. We live in a society. We do. V just sent you $20 on PayPal to see Joker. Oh, that was nice of you. Emery Calam, sorry. Look forward to hearing V's review of the Joker, actually. I'll make sure I'll message him and make sure he knows. Just saw Joker, amazing film. I'm doing a review. That's Ace 1918. Go check out his channel. He does good stuff. Sargon, why can't you just keep an electric kettle hot nearby, then pour water as needed? Because then I would literally never leave my office, and so I've got to make sure I've got an incentive to not stay here my entire working just daily life. Please go to Mussolini's wiki quote page and search the word tomorrow with the dash. That will get you Mussolini's Declaration of 1921. Oh, good. We're going to look up Mussolini's wiki quote page. Jesus. I know that was a different one, but the first one is how he's threatening that the communists and the fascists will become a team. So that's that's worrying. And I'll get to it in a minute. Oh no, it's the only one. Oh right, yeah, Declaration. Oh yeah. Tomorrow, fascists and communists, both persecuted by the police, may arrive at an agreement, sinking their differences until the time comes to share the spoils. I realise that there are no political affinities between us. There are plenty of intellectual affinities. Like them, we believe in the necessity for a centralised and unitary state, imposing an iron discipline on everyone, but with the difference that they reach this conclusion through the idea of class, and we through the idea of nation. It's interesting. That's a very interesting quote, isn't it?
Mussolini was a good boy. Didn't do nothing.
Well, I keep telling everyone he was a socialist for like 10 years before he became a fascist. And that's, unironically true. Unquestionably true. Right, I've managed to fend off. Oh, no, there he is.
I mean, people keep forgetting Hitler's party, the NSDAP, as the National German Workers' Party. Like, he didn't pick that by accident. It's like, they actually did a thing that thought they were for the workers.
Yeah.
Now, the benefit of playing Space Marines is that my turns take about 3 seconds each time. It's like, okay, remove them 5 units. That's it.
Oh, goddamn. Just walked into an ambush and I'm getting butchered. It's because I've got to read the chat as well. So I'm distracted. I've got side-eye the chat. Retreat. There are already trans space marines. They're called the Emperor's Children. By the way, gay pride parades are basically Slaaneshi cultist meeting grounds now. Well, Arch, can you prove him wrong and change his mind?
Not really, no. It's bad.
Yeah.
Like Scrum said, like, how could we possibly ever have been against gay rights? It's so obvious. Yeah. Now we got people in gimp suits parading through the streets whilst whipping one another. It's like, oh, that's why.
Yeah. I mean, for anyone who's not a regular listener, like this has gone way too far, man. Like, I'm all for people not being persecuted because of their sexuality, but regular people don't do this, and so you probably shouldn't do it either.
Like, sexuality is one thing. Pushing that in other people's faces actively and being like, hey, are you offended yet? Like, no.
Pride was considered a sin for a reason. Just saying.
Damn.
Can we crowdfund the purchase of an orphan for V, one that you can train up and send to the UN? Probably.
Will the orphan teach him to not surrender so easily?
Yeah, Turd-flinging monkey isn't that bad, Sargon. He's well researched. Oh, okay. I'm not saying that he's bad or anything like that. I'm just saying I think that the take will be it's women's fault.
Well, there's Sargon's home.
Oh, hello.
Stop shooting me, fuckwit. I'm here to help. God damn it.
You'll have to go to the right because you're going between two of my cities here.
2 of them? I don't know if I'd like you having 2 cities.
Well, then I don't regret shooting. Yeah, you better move to the right there, otherwise my guys will shoot. I can't even stop them, really.
Okay.
Aren't Space Marines literally incels?
Well, no, because they're not involuntary celibates, they're voluntary celibates.
Ooh.
Big difference.
Chad Space Marine is a volcel.
God fucking damn it. Why me?
Palpatine has been cucked by a female Imperial. Didn't he build around the Empire's power and strength? What?
Yeah, well, we saw that yesterday. They were like, oh no, Palpatine didn't do any of these things. There's some random woman we've never heard about that did all of this.
What? What, in the prequel trilogy?
That's right. That was after you got cocked off the internet. That's true. Yeah, no, they introduced some random woman nobody's ever heard about or has been ever mentioned in the fluff before, apparently, and supposedly she did all of the things that Palpatine did.
Oh.
So Palpatine was just a puppet.
Oh, I've only just learned this. That's surprising. I'm sure that will be completely good and it'll be an excellent, stunning, and brave storyline that anyone who disagrees with will surely be a misogynist about. When are you going to play Civilization 5? Not soon, because V keeps beating me at it.
You lose to V? Sargon, I don't know what to say.
Not in this game, I don't. You should read his letter, it's good stuff. Okay, we'll do. Important information, I have a demonic tea kettle. Tea kettle. When it's just about finished, the gurgling noises torment my fellow team speakers. They even made a comic about it. You should summon one too. I don't know if I'm brave enough. But thankful the videos get done. Yes. As an utter degenerate, I say gimp suits are gross. Well, I can't help but concur. I do find them quite repulsive.
But the question still remains, how do you get blood out of a fursuit?
Well, yes, I suppose that's a question that will have to remain unanswered, isn't it?
Alright, so I don't think I can actually help you, Sargon, because you seem to have blocked off my reinforcement route with your fucking cities.
Yeah, you might have to go around the long way.
Or I could go the short way. Oh, Jesus. One thing I kind of like about this game too is it gives little names to the terrain, so you can kind of navigate if you're playing together.
Yeah, I really like that as well. It's just
also
quaint.
Just a hint of immersion too, like, oh yeah, Red Mountain, makes sense. Granted, in this case, Red Mountain is a flat plain, but details.
Well, listen, this was procedurally generated, okay? And ow, that hurt.
Oh, fuck. Fortifications.
It's fine. I can deal with it. I have corn berserkers. Timple video, women and liberals are more likely to support censorship, hold double standards according to study. Women are the reason for our cancel culture. That's a good point. I didn't consider that. But the thing is, cancel culture doesn't even require government intervention. The female imperial is literally Jess Phillips. She got power by convincing her husband to commit suicide, then took his place laughing about it. In Jess Phillips's defense, I don't think she has done that. So I feel that I actually have to come to her defense on that one. I don't think she's convinced her husband to commit suicide. At least, if she has, I'm not aware of that deep lore. Oh, jeez. Right, but what I'll probably do is stop streaming because we've been going for a while. But we can carry on playing if you want, Arch. Sorry, chat. But it's late and now I've run out of witty banter. So, you know how it is.
Witty banter.
Yeah. But thank you everyone for joining us. Let me just check that that I've actually covered a thing. You get the blood out with bleach, luck, and skill, Arch, or so I've been told. And did either of you play Three Kingdoms? Thoughts? I did not play Three Kingdoms. Did you, Arch?
Adequate but unimaginative, I think would be my pithy summary.
Well, there we go. Right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's been great fun. And I will see you soon. I will try not to leave it so long between doing these streams, because they're just nice to just hang out and chat about current events, isn't it? But anyway, take care, everyone.